Deltarune tomorrow? I wonder how often Deltarune tomorrow will be stated once Deltarune is done. Does Deltarune being done that Deltarune will always be tomorrow? And we no longer have to worry about the possibility that Deltarune today? Or do we accept the fact that there truly won't be Deltarune tomorrow, and we smile, not cry, you know, smile because it happened and not cry because it's over. That biz. This is the kind of stuff Socrates was talking about. I'm positive about it. Oh goodness. Goodness. It's another one of those days. I gotta tell y'all. I mean, it's Tuesday. I literally was going on most of the day about the fact that I'm like decently sure at this point. Tuesdays, Monday being the worst day of the week is like, that's not, it's a joke. It's weak sauce at this point, you know. To me, it like, Monday's fine. Tuesday has claimed that spot, no problem, and I'm tired. That's the thing, right? I started on Thursday, so I slept instead of streamed. And then next Thursday, chances are I'm going to be seeing Supergirl with my pa. So, with that in mind, I was like, you know what? If I'm going to be doing like 2 weeks, but pretty close to each other, where I end up only doing 2 streams, I don't need to break that streak, especially when Deltarune tomorrow. So might as well take it easy a bit. And also, I keep saying, I don't know, something to think about, because at dinner just before stream, my family was saying, it's like, Dylan, you're always saying like you just want to get through the week. That's true. I don't know. It's I think it's a little hard, because on one hand, I can understand it's like, should be doing more. You shouldn't just always be looking forward. You should stop and smell the roses. And I'm down with that. I'm happy about that. But also, I like to have lots of breathing room. I think that's the big thing. Because I say that, and it's because I'm thinking about free time on the weekend, where I'm not worried about doing everything back to back to back to back. Like tomorrow I have a doctor's appointment before work, and then I work late, which is why I have a doctor's appointment before work. So, you know, I'm just gonna come home and end up playing games, because that's about all the only thing I even have a little bit of time for before I have to go to bed for work the next day. And that's kind of the case for a lot of things anytime you make plans on the week. So then I'm just like, I'd rather just be the weekend at this point. And also, especially right now, because I don't know, like I said, them saying that is like, I should check myself a bit more when I'm thinking like that. Conversely, however, I feel like I've been as much as it might not seem it from a lot of people's perspective, I have been working hard this year. I've been getting a new job. I'm working on getting an apartment, and like, I wish I was putting out more content publicly, but I have been doing a lot behind the scenes, and like sometimes I gotta accept that that's how it goes. So, you know. So I have a little vacation coming up next week on the 4th of July weekend. And honestly, I'm looking forward to that. Because, I mean, heck, I might even still be doing, like, art and stuff on there, but like I said, the breathing room would be greatly appreciated. So, I'm just again, I don't want to constantly be just like acting like I'm just getting through the week, going through the paces, you know, but at the same time, I try to be pretty consistent with things. I like a nice consistent schedule, and I'm often trying hard to, you know, I do work hard at work. I try to work hard on my comics and what have you. Again, I know. I'm not trying to make too many excuses, but also, I think it's important to recognize, like, the reason I look forward so much to getting done in the week is because a lot of weeks I'm doing a lot of stuff. So. Yeah. I guess, I don't know, sometime this weekend / next weekend, I'm going to make sure to really buckle down on working on book stuff, as to keep myself accountable with what I'm saying right now, right? One, like yesterday I was talking about how it's like I do the comic for fun, but I would love it if the book became like a big thing. And two, thinking of, I want to show that I'm working hard, so I got like 3 different pretty chunky Google documents with like just laying stuff out for a game that I'm going to be using as a literary device in my book. And I have the rough idea, you know, I don't even say early stages, because it's not like it's not like I've only thought about the game and haven't thought about the story itself at all, right? But definitely, you know, the framework, that's probably the best way to say it, of the story I want to make with those cards, so. Probably would be a good note to put down, because I've been thinking, right? I like the idea of using card games as a framing device for conflict and using them to kind of really have characters hash it out. Yeah, a bunch of stuff that was going on about this. So in that way, I have to think about, like, in a story, what do I want the card games to, like, mean, you know? Why is any one game happening during a certain point in the story? So I gotta map that out as much as I map out just, like, regular ass novel stuff. So I was thinking about it. Not as much done this year as I would have liked. That being said, like, I do think my work behind the scenes has been a-okay. And, you know, like Walt Disney, for example, he was making Mickey Mouse and Oswald when he was roughly 27. Let's look this up. How old was J.R.R. Tolkien when he wrote... Is this The Hobbit? Yep, The Hobbit. Was 45 years old. Okay. So, so the greatest fantasy author of all time was pushing 50 when he wrote the first book. So maybe I take a deep breath, and as long as I kind of keep on the track I'm on, and really make sure to give it my all, we'll get somewhere. AI Candy, which is kind of unfortunate that her name is AI because she's not. That's like Neurosama, or well, Neurosama isn't actually AI, is she? I don't know. Let's think. Is it Neuro Sama? It is Neuro. I thought she was Why did I think she was Japanese? I thought that was the name of a Japanese VTuber, but that is Neuro. Yeah, she's an AI, but she's not AI. So... But yeah, but AI Candy isn't even, you know, not even using that text-to-speech. She's a person. She's just science-themed. But she put out a novel, and I glanced over it. It's very slice of lifey, it seemed like. Which, you know, is good. Not necessarily my speed, but I'm a big nerd, so... I don't know, maybe I just have so much to read, and I never get to it. Like, I'm not even gonna pretend like I'm going to. No, I've just not been getting to it. So if I start reading, I should be reading the stuff that's on that list, and not new book from streamer I know. But, you know, the fact she was able to do that gives me faith in myself. Obviously, I imagine her main income is streaming more than books, given the fact she's a streamer and this is her first book, as opposed to this is her like 5th book and she also streams. That sort of situation. But yeah. Yeah. So, this is like, ironically, because someone I saw talking about books not too long ago, it was like, do people still read? And the answer, I think, is almost definitely yes. In fact, wasn't I literally saying yesterday, I was talking to I was, on stream, I was saying how many people I know recently who are doing like book clubs and stuff like that. And I think what I can bring to the table is the idea of trying to adapt certain Saturday morning, early childhood sort of ideas into grand novels. Make it a bit more robust as well as I can. Because, you know, I was saying yesterday, I was also saying yesterday how much Yu-Gi-Oh! Surprised me with how good I thought it was, how well I thought it was written. But that's not the case for every beloved Saturday morning cartoon. Definitely not the case. I would argue the wider creature collecting genre, which is what I usually call it. You know, when you got when something highly marketable might be another word. That's one way to say it. That whole genre. Pokemon, Bakugan, Digimon. No, I'm done with the ons, I promise. But all those on top of Yu-Gi-Oh! They're not exactly filled with like the toppest tier of writing. I do think legitimately some of them, like Digimon Tamers, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, unironically, some real good stuff. Much better than I think a lot of people would give it credit for, right? But that's one reason, as much as I'm trying to make the game it's going to be based around a decently fleshed out thing, I am focusing on putting it in a story more than making it like a game to sell. Because if I do that, then it does become like a, oh, this is a commercial for the thing, as opposed to a, oh, this is a story with a, you know, cool mechanic in it. And like, I talk about the idea of people being able to play the game, because I always think that's fun. Like if I was doing a Tolkien-esque thing, I'd be like, yeah, it'd be cool if people wanted to, like, I don't know, buy, like, you know, Gondor clothes and swords and what have you, that kind of stuff. Like I love the idea that people, well, I guess for Tolkien it would be like, I'd love it if people wanted to read my books in Elvish, the language I invented, like that kind of stuff. This is Clip Studio Paint is so weird sometimes. Anyway, like I think to some degree, there's like anyone writes in general because they want people to step into the world that they've imagined. So me making the game any kind of physical real thing would be part of that for sure, but obviously more important than that is getting the world out there. So, and I've also, like, literally part of the whole conceit of the thing is to kind of make a TCG that is free from some of the hangups I have with TCG. Like, one thing with Magic that wasn't even talked about, there's like all the different formats in Magic, and I remember hearing in different TCGs how like some, you know, sometimes when like whole new sets come out, you like it is expected in a competitive format you are using those, nothing from the old stuff. And I don't like that per se, but then I go to Yu-Gi-Oh, my go-to, and like you can use the old stuff, but they've introduced so much, like, so many mechanics that the old stuff has no way to interact with because they were printed long before those mechanics. You know, it's it becomes like everything has its hangups, and one of the things any TCG has a problem with is obviously scalpers, and I'd like to avoid that, even though I'm sure that'd be a good way to get marketing up. But conversely, if people think the books are good, I don't necessarily need the TCG itself to be like #1 in the world. Just available would be my preference, so that people might indulge in the idea if they so feel it. Like, you know, Inscription isn't exactly a multiplayer kind of big thing, but I've definitely seen plenty of people make and sell physical Inscription sets. Like I remember seeing that online. So, very similar case of like, I don't want the solo product to be good on its own right. Big. Oh my goodness, thank you for the raid. What were y'all doing? Yo, at Captain Big. You're playing Pokemon Infinite Fusion 2. Hoenn, I was seeing Stealth play that. There were some fun fusions in there. I was a particularly big fan of basically anything Wingull. I don't know if you were doing that with the pirate theming, but a lot of Wingull stuff I was into when I saw Stealth play a bit of it. They made a sequel. That's good. I was actually just talking about my TCG I'm working on. So, hi Raiders, if you don't know me, I'm Cahill, I make comics. I used to play games on Twitch, but here's the thing, I need more time to work on comics. So I've committed to that about halfway through the year. And I was just kind of talking about my own projects and analyzing myself. And yeah, on top of this pirate comic we're working on, so if you like Big, you might like that. I'm also working on making my own TCG. Yeah, it's a lot. That's what I mean. I was literally just saying. The reason I was like so self-analyzing before y'all came in was because I was at dinner. My family was like, Cahill, you always say you're just trying to get through the week, and it's because I don't be having time on the week. I don't know any of you guys out there with a 9 to 5, but one, I do think the 9 to 5 for me is much better than working, let's say, nights. Working nights kills me, and I've done it too much. But also, between like, you know, I love my family, but I need to get my own place in part so that way when I get done work, I can shut out everything and like maybe eat while I'm working. Barely any, yeah, I feel that. So, and I mean, if you're like, I don't know. I've seen you do some. I know you definitely are creative in your own right. I don't know how much you're like, you know, working on creative projects yourself, but doing that and also Deltarune tomorrow, because Deltarune tomorrow is like, where's the time? It's gone. So that being said, I was just saying, give myself a bit of a deep breath and breathing room, because I was also like, I'm turning 27 this year. Walt Disney literally like, he makes Mickey Mouse when he's 28, 27 roughly. So like, that's chill. I looked it up. Tolkien writes The Hobbit at 45. Like, it's not all crashing down. I'm just like, you know, but I do want to keep working to make it as big and good as possible. Streaming during the week, yeah. The way it ended up working out, I don't think people don't come to my streams to begin with. And then on top of that, it's like, I tip it, if I'm playing a game for enjoyment, it's typically not the game I'm streaming. And then I stopped streaming on weekends because I like having the weekends completely open with what we were just saying. So with all that combined, I was like, streaming games isn't really doing anything for me, so might as well largely focus on art as much as I can. But yeah, I was just saying, Big, have we you know, for being two pirate nerds, we don't talk enough, Big. You like any Yu-Gi-Oh? Because I don't know how many people know this. I got Dual Monster Brain Rot, and like that's compelled me to be like, I need to write something. So that's why I'm making a TC more than Pokemon. I grew up on Pokemon, but I've kind of dipped out. I don't know what Winds and Waves is going to be like, and if I'm being honest, it will stay that way. Very good amount about Yu-Gi-Oh! Fuck yeah. Yeah. It's so weird that a lot of people would call me a Yu-Gi boomer, when in reality, I watched it like 2 years ago. So we're on the exact same page. We're on the exact same page, Big. Cause I'm definitely like, yeah, card games on motorcycles is peak. And I don't care about any. There's a lot of reasons I don't care about mechanics after synchro. One of it is like literally. It's literally. I think, and this is what I was talking about. I was talking about the whole creature capture, like, you know, like genre, right? I think most creature capture like series suffer from the idea that every single, you know, like they always have to be adding new stuff. Not in that I think they should release one set and die. No, I mean, like, you know, Pokemon started with Mega Evolution, and then it was Emus, and then it was literally just skipped over Gigantamaxing. I was about to go straight to like, they're doing that. Yu-Gi-Oh! Synchro did start it, I will admit, but they did Synchro, and then Z's, and then Pendulum, and then Linking, and now that's broken the game so much that some turns last 20 minutes because you can just summon non-stop with all the different mechanics, etc., etc. So that's definitely one reason I'm interested in making my own, because like I said, I keep saying it, I think formatting character conflict in card games is a really cool literary device that literally basically only Yu-Gi-Oh! Does. I heard something about, I think it's literally called Duel Masters as an anime. Duel Masters anime. Let's see. This looks like the most Japanese thing ever. And I don't know how good that is. My anime list. I don't want to pop up. Your choices have been recorded. I didn't give a choice. But yeah. Games these days. Yeah, and I mean, some people are really into it. And if people like modern Yu-Gi-Oh! I love that, but... And I've given several reasons I don't think I can touch Magic with a 10-foot pole. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Magic fans. I know the games go on a while. The cards are ridiculously expensive. And also, I was talking yesterday about the fact it's like, I don't want to just use like Realms Beyond, you know, like characters are like Avatar or Spider-Man or Final Fantasy. I don't want to just do that, but also I don't know any Magic. There's too many Magic cards. I mean, Magic, like, Yu-Gi-Oh's been around forever, and Magic inspired Yu-Gi-Oh! Seto Kaiba is meant to be a Magic the Gathering player. I do also think, like, that's where, like, something like a show or a comic helps with a TCG, you know? Everyone can tell you, like, who uses fucking Geodude and Onyx, or, like, you know, what asshole uses Blue Eyes White Dragon, and you know what those cards are like in the anime. Is there a thing like that for Magic? I don't think so. And again, there doesn't have to be for every single one. Some of them can just focus on being games and being good. Lord knows Magic has made its name as the biggest trading card game of all time in the past half century. But I like me a show. I like to watch a cheesy battler. So, especially because, like, I don't know, what else are you gonna watch? The competitive scene? You could, but I want to make a joke. Here's the thing. I was going to make a joke about competitive card players smelling. And you'd be like, Cahill, that's a reductive stereotype. No. What I need you to understand is that what competitive card players do is they abuse the text on the cards to do cheeky little things and win the game, which makes everyone angry. And one of the things a Yu-Gi-Oh! Player did at one point is that there was a card based on the anime that required the player across from them to shake their hand in order to not get punished. Yep, Big knows what I'm talking about. So since the card required the player to shake their hand in order to avoid a punishment in-game, they didn't shower for 2 weeks. Like, this is what I'm talking about. That's what I was trying to reference. Not that card players in general don't shower, it's that they will sap the fun out of it to win, like the man who didn't shower. So, yeah. Of the 3 Yu-Gi-Oh! Series I have enjoyed, GX is probably 3rd on my list. And it's not because I didn't like a lot of different parts of it. I feel like they didn't know what they were doing. I feel like through the entire series, they were having a hard time deciding if it should be like a serial drama, kind of like Duel Monsters was, or if it should be a, like, slice of life. And I kind of preferred the slice of life, actually. Yeah. To be fair, there's still a lot of cool stuff, but Duel Monsters is probably my number one, with 5Ds being a close second. Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying, Big. There's lots of like different individual arcs and episodes, especially in the first half of GX. I would happily go back and watch, because it's watching a bunch of goofy characters play a card game on an island dedicated only to playing card games, which is always funny. So, but in terms of like actual, you know, through line stories, you can't beat a Battle City or Dark Signers. So gets a little melodramatic every now and then, but damn if I don't eat it up. So that's why I'm like, I gotta use what I've learned. Have a good lurk, babe. I must use what I have learned in order to do my best to give these concepts a showing on a literary stage, in a spotlight where perhaps, just maybe, people will engage with them, not automatically kind of writing them off as an ad for a card game. Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Wasn't an ad for a card game. But that's why everyone likes to point out that Duelist Kingdom is so weird, because like the card game wasn't made yet, so there were no card game rules, so they don't have to follow them. But it's still an important thing to note, not just because Yugi isn't cheating, because he's not breaking, the rules are not what they are in real life, but also conversely, I was trying to think. All right, but also conversely, that way you don't write it off immediately as being like, oh, they're just trying to sell stuff. It's like, no, Takahashi was trying to write something good. Yeah, it's still in Shonen Jump. Still trying to, not necessarily like he was trying to write to get into the Louvre, but the purpose was still not to sell anything, not to make a commercial, but just to make a story people would like, and I liked it. So that's why I'm like, I like to learn about storytelling. I like this, I like that. So I'm gonna give it the old college try, and hopefully it lets me quit my day job. Yeah. Everyone picks up the book and is like, "What are you trying to sell us something here?" And my answer is, "No, I just want to quit my day job. Please buy the book." Technically, yes, but I'd be happy if it was just the book. I'm not trying to upsell. So what was the thing though? That's another thing my family talked to me about, and I am receptive to it, and something I'm trying to hold myself accountable with, is that I did write a short story and get it edited and put it out on different reading platforms. Now the only way to get it is Patreon, because I privated it on the other places, just because I was like, if I continue this, it will not resemble this short story really. So, you know, leave it on Patreon as like a fun little pilot kind of thing. But they were like, why aren't you continuing that? Why are you trying to do a new idea? And the answer is because I wrote myself into a corner and couldn't think of a way to continue. So And also, like, I do pirate comic, because I've had pirate brainworms since I was 5. And as I do this, I'm also going to work on Yu-Gi-Oh! Fantasy novel, because now I'm 26 and I have Yu-Gi-Oh! Brainworms, so... Yeah. You know, I was talking about Walt Disney and how he started doing stuff just because that's what I grew up going to Disney World, and that's kind of what inspired me, is seeing that just someone making cartoons turned into that whole thing. Not the fucking mega corporation, which I despise, but the parks and stuff are great, especially when I was growing up. What was I thinking of? But yeah. Walt also was able to get, like... There was also a time when you could just, like, walk into a place and be like, I want a job! And they were like, alright, Sonny, you get it! So, very different environment these days, for sure, but... just still trying to work on it, you know? Also, I love how I had to explain that I was inspired by old Disney stuff when I look like this, when my stream looks like this. It's TV time! Alright. And I was saying before, I'm looking towards the end of the weeks because I have a small staycation coming up, which is just about the only real vacation I'm planning this year. But if I'm being honest, I'd like just to have the next, like, 2 weeks off straight. Because Deltarune, book and Deltarune. 2 weeks would be enough to play through, because I was replaying on PC, because I actually didn't have the Steam version. I said this yesterday, but I'll say it again. So play through the rest of Chapter 4, play through all of Chapter 5, and then that would give me, like, almost certainly still 2 weeks to work on books. Which would be nice. So. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, you know, don't tell my family, they'd be like, don't do that. But I did once try to see if I could pull up, like, Google Docs on my work computer. See if I could do that while, because there is downtime at my job. And I could not do that, unfortunately, so. I'm stuck using my phone at work, which is, even though I can use, you know, writing software on it, decently limiting in terms of creative things I can do, especially if I still have to also focus on work a majority of that time. Yeah. I don't know how much I've said this on stream. I'd like, truly, I have, like, my only desire is to get some kind of creative endeavor going in earnest. Because I don't know how much I want to be like, I don't want to move up the old corporate ladder, that's for sure. And I don't think I'm going to get a necessarily much cushier job. I don't know how much I want to try, like, looking for more and more jobs where I can just turn my brain off and get paid more and more. That feels bad. I don't want to take excess amounts of money for easier and easier jobs, you know? I'd prefer I'd manage to find a way to do what I want for a living. Thus not forcing me to choose between that stuff when I'm done the workday. Yeah. Or I do wonder, you know, Amazing Digital Circus just wrapped up, and I mean, a lot of people were very nasty to Gooseworks. They've been public about that, and they've been public about how they were like, yeah, I don't know if this is for me, actually. And I feel bad. But I do also wonder, because clearly people have dealt with that before and been like, okay. So, I gotta wonder what the difference is between being creative and being able to handle that kind of stuff. Do I have it in me? I don't know. Maybe I'll never know. One day we'll see, hopefully. I'm trying. But it did. I guess my only thing with the Gooseworks thing was it gave me pause, just be like, because I could try and be cocky about it, be like, huh, I'll be fine, but I don't know that. That being said, I also know if like the TCG specifically takes off, who knows how I'll feel about people doing weird, cheesy strategies to win tournaments. So, I have loosely been following the supposed return of Chaotic, a thing from my childhood show, at one of, like, literally what I was describing before, a show made to sell a game from my childhood. And I don't think I had any of the cards. I think I just had the watch the show. Apparently the card game specifically is coming back, and that is interesting. I kind of want to check that out. I wonder how well it'll go. Yeah, there are a lot. There's lots of card games. Heck, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I've even seen stuff about the freaking like Disney card game, Lorcana. Like, that isn't even a complete wash. I feel like the one, let's see. I know the Digimon card game does have a place. I feel like, though, what was I thinking of? Of the TCGs in the modern day, I'm surprised kind of have a very prominent presence in competitive. I feel like One Piece is up there. I know One Piece is obviously One Piece, but you know, just because something's a big show doesn't mean it has it doesn't mean its TCG will take off. So the fact that One Piece seems to be like, no, legitimately people play and collect a lot of the One Piece cards, a little surprising to me. Yeah. I don't know. I'd be surprised. I think I talked about this on one stream. Digimon has recently really had a resurgence and has really risen in terms of, apparently it was one of Toei's top sellers this past season. So I'd be curious where the TCG is at with that. I'll say this much. On top of the fact that Beat Break does fuck, do not get it twisted. I've watched a good amount of Beat Break with Stealth, and it is great. I think the other thing that really helped it was kind of what was like a time. Was it Time Stranger? Yeah, Time Stranger. And in part, not wholly, but largely in part, like the initial, like I think they had a real, whoever, like, I hope whoever did the like direction and stuff for the reveal trailer of Time Stranger, and I think the Direct, I think it was Nintendo Direct, I think they deserve a hearty raise because I think that was a big part of it. I think that had a solid showing when it was revealed. A lot of people, like, the trailer kind of got people hooked, and then it revealed that it was Digimon, and that really raised people's interest. And then obviously, you know, I think when, you know, I'm not even the biggest Digimon person, but when you get there's a big rabbit hole with Digimon, literally just in the creatures in the franchise, right? So I think that became, I saw lots of clips of streamers doing that, discovering different Digimon and doing stuff like that. It was a very good marketing storm for them, I would say. That being said, I still don't know where their TCG lies in terms of the overall trading card game market. So, definitely not nowhere, that's for sure. It's also funny because I think I literally said in this stream, Tamers is a great show, and Tamers revolves around the idea of Digimon being like a marketable TCG. However, Stealth did inform me that the TCG in that game, in that show, was released, but is not the modern one, is instead a defunct TCG that they try to put out during the Tamers run. So, very fun. I feel like I heard apparently, I think I literally saw on Team 4-Star someone saying that apparently the reason like the cards in the American anime specifically looked so different from the actual TCG, and in turn the Japanese anime, which had pretty accurate cards to their real world counterparts, but a large part of that was American marketing laws, which is like, you can't, like, technically if they showed the characters using like very true to life cards, that is in part considered like marketing to children, because it's like literally just flaunting a product in front of children that they can go out and buy. And on one hand, I wish they would allow for accurate, and they might actually nowadays, I don't know, but accurate Yu-Gi-Oh cards. On the other hand, I think that's maybe one of the few good laws America has. Maybe, like, it'd be one thing if everyone could handle it responsibly, right? Being like, yeah, this is a cool thing we put in our show, and we could probably make it into something kids can get. But that's definitely not what anyone would do, and they would instead be like, I'm going to mind control children into wanting this shitty product that I've made. So that's why we can't have nice things. We all know it. Why can't we have nice things? The answer is always corporations. Do not get it twisted. So it's kind of interesting. I was talking about Game Changer yesterday. I literally think I saw a clip of Brennan Lee Mulligan, very, very open about being, you know, like pro-union and stuff. About like how jobs were real cool for a certain period of time, but Which loops back around to me just wanting to make books and stuff. It's interesting to hear him say that, though, because I'm pretty sure you could just look up an hour compilation of Brennan going on rants about unions and stuff like that. So... Ugh. History, I don't know. Sometimes there's like facts. I would consider them fun facts, but sometimes I see people post them in like a Discord and they all get sad reactions. And I'm like, listen, man, just gotta learn this stuff. No point crying over. He loves unions. Hi, Juice. Yeah. No point crying over spilled milk, and by spilled milk, I mean like ruined labor laws. You just gotta take that in for. You just gotta internalize that shit and move forward, okay? You gotta keep going. So. Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. I swear, I feel like, especially with the current climate, I see less people saying history is a shitty subject. I've seen too many people say that in my time. In my lifetime, I've seen too many people try to tout that history was a useless subject. Don't even try. I am by no means a hyper knowledgeable person. At this point, I'm pretty sure I could sit a lot of people down and talk about history and be like, you're going to learn something today. It's gonna mess you up. So clearly everyone needs to be paying more attention to it. Math is the worst subject, and I know, shocker, art major doesn't like math. Listen. My problem with math isn't that they teach math in general, it's that it gets to a point where you're learning purely theoretical math that you will never need a day in your life, and there are other far more applicable uses of math that could be taught but are not. So, pardon me if I want the subject to actually, like, if I want the subject to contain topics related to real life, especially in like a mandatory curriculum I'm having to take at formative ages. So sorry. I think it's Odd Ones Out. I think he was a math major, which is fun because he's also, I mean, he's an animator. He's just an animator who's good at math. But in one of his videos, he talks about how it's like, you only don't like math because you're bad at it. And the answer to that is yes. But also, I can have other problems with my math classes besides being bad at them. It can be multi-layered. Life is like a box of onions, my guy. It contains layers. Forrest Gump is a pretty good movie. I know, hot take. Wild, insane take. I liked Forrest Gump when I watched it in like high school. It's also fun knowing apparently Forrest's speech in the Vietnam section that is written out. From what I remember seeing, because I've seen it written out before, it's a pretty good speech. So, bring back our justice for Forrest. Put him on the mic again. Oh. I'd be dropping my pen. What? Hey. Do people who make art tablets make them in other colors? I'm just curious, because I don't think I've ever seen anyone ever talk about an art tablet that isn't black. And listen, I love me a dark color palette. I literally work in black and white all the time. It's just a problem when I drop my pen and it disappears into the abyss. Right? It's a problem that as I work, I accidentally misplace my pen and it becomes one with the shadows. We just need to work on this a little bit. I'm sorry. Oh fuck yeah. Gamer girl artist. That's Moyoho. Is that how you pronounce it? Spanish, funny Spanish lady. Right? Is that who you're talking about, Juice? Because here's the thing. She was in like maybe at 1 minute total of a Lyfero video. And I desperately need more of that. I need to see her little avatar pop up more and do funny things in Lyfera videos. I'd love that. Please and thank you. So we love funny artist lady, or public in the YouTube space. I mean, looks at Gooseworks. I get it. Like. Sometimes, I mean, okay, y'all, can I be so real? I think if I get a successful book going, I'm going to shave my head and grow a beard, and none of you will ever see me in public ever again. Like, that'll probably be what happens. I've thought about it. What pictures exist to me online will quickly become outdated. So, and that's not even because I would be like fully reclusive in terms of my work. I just wouldn't be out and about. Like, I'd probably be very close to the Mohoyo approach, where I'm just like, you know, like I'm around. You can find me if you really want to, but not exactly forthcoming with my public appearances. Who knows if I'd still be streaming at that point? I probably would be, especially if stream is helping me get the book out there. I like streaming for fun. So, Lord, do you think if J.R.R. Tolkien was alive and was doing streams of, like, I mean, he's a professor, so he would probably just be doing streams of, like, his lessons in, like, linguistics, but then also occasionally Elvish and Middle Earth history. Do you think that would pop off? Do you think people would be, I mean, I guess with the whole, like, Tolkien fan base in modern day, yes, but I wonder how much the general Twitch audience would be like, brother, you gotta check out this Noctogenarian. this octogenarian who clearly has autism. How could you say that, Cahill? First off, I have autism. Second off, he spent decades creating his own language and world, only to begrudgingly set a cohesive story in them. So. He was almost, he definitely had something making him obsessive about certain things. And we love that. I look up to the amount, just the amount of creative work he did. And how much he grounded that in real world culture. But also, I think that could comfortably fit him in one of the neurodivergent circles. So I wonder if there will ever be a time. I wonder if historical records will ever truly reflect that kind of stuff, or if just via tradition it always goes unsaid in an official capacity. You know, with like old people being gay and what have you. Where they're like, he had a special friend, and it's like, no, he didn't. Not friend. That kind of stuff. Will the tradition forevermore simply be everyone else but the historians pointing out, hey, this person was clearly just, you know, homosexual, or clearly had some neurodivergency happening. So it will be for real. That'll be the tradition. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I would love for things to be less stigmatized. Don't exist ever. Well, I don't think that'll be the case, but not before the 90s, Juice. Don't get it twisted. Before the millennium, no such thing as being gay or autistic didn't exist. I want everyone to know I do know what Stonewall is. Just so we're so clear. This is part of the bit. Lord, has there... there's no way anyone's tried to spin Stonewall as straight, right? That's never been the case. They better not have. Several special friends. Just like some historian the week after frantically typing several single people. Like, brother, no. Stonewall's in New York, right? I was literally looking this up during Pride, when I was going to a Pride event. Stonewall Inn. Stonewall Inn is a gay bar in New York City. Oh. See, this is what... It's kind of wild that... Also, is that open? Is Stonewall Inn still open? There's a gay bar. Oh, well, they have their own website. Marsh. And not a woman. I was thinking of... Oh, you're trying to say that, like, you know, they're saying that a trans person was just doing drag, a different thing, as opposed to being trans. Fuck that. I don't think anyone should. First off, trans rights, but regardless, no one should ever let personal politics allow them to be okay with like misrepresenting history. You know, that's just shit. I cannot pretend as though I am some omnipotent being, but I do my best to recognize facts as facts, to separate my bias, as so that any story I might recall can be as clear as possible. Yeah. Listen, my family is honestly pretty progressive, believe it or not, despite the fact that we're like Irish Christians, but I shouldn't be surprised that like the few times we went to New York we didn't go to Stonewall, but I'd like to see it at least, because I've been to New York plenty. Be cool seeing what's up, being like, oh my gosh, they this was the place they invented being. Also, another thing I like thinking about with Stonewall is during a Snap Cube, it was one of the dubs they do to warm up for their real-time fan dubs, and one was Jeopardy, and like literally one of the Jeopardy questions just showed a picture of a stone wall, and one of them was just like, look at Stonewall, it gave us our rights. And everyone's like, It's a good bit. Good bit. Do I need to tell y'all that Snapcube is funny? I shouldn't have to. She's great. Also, happy Pride. Oh my gosh, Deltarune is coming out in Pride. We love it. She's what? She's funny. She's the funny Babbit. She makes Chris and Deltarune sound like an old Midwestern man. Show me your brother. She helped Eggman to piss on the moon. She for to help Eggman. Feeling remorse, Eggman? I got him. I don't know. I know for a fact Penny's done, like, you know, Penny's done, like, talked about how she does her Sonic voice. I wonder if she'd ever give, like, a class, because she does a pretty good Sonic a lot of the time. Wait, sure. Y'all mind if I, like, literally just practice voice acting for a second? Just like, feeling remorse, Eggman? It's me, Sonic. Hey, it's Sonic. Whoa. This is definitely very. No, it's not. Who? Jason Griffith? That's the guy who's doing like Sonic Adventure and everything. Whoa. My Sonic's like the very, you know, very nasally, just the kind of stereotypical between like Jaleel White and Jason Griffith sort of Sonic. I like to do a good Sonic, but hey, it's Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good Sonic quote if you ever need to be able to like get in the mood of doing a Sonic voice. Oh yeah, this is happening. Gotta go higher. Oh yeah, this is happening. I always have such a lower voice than I realize, and I hate it. Everyone go ahead. Mark your Cahill is trans chalkboard. Hates deep voice. Hates having deep voice. Truly, I'm never meeting the allegations. Cahill. Oh shit, I almost got it. You are an egg! Just Woody from Toy Story. Oh yeah, this is happening. Feeling like an egg, Eggman? Oh shit! Eggman has become Egg Woman! Wait, no. Oh wow! Eggman has become Trans Woman! Oh yeah, this is happening. Trans rights. I like trying to. I can't do much of the Sonic voice, but I like to try. Oh, and she's bisexual. I didn't know that. By the way, I'm bisexual. If you didn't know that. That's not. I'm gonna be so on it. Okay. I have no doubt Eggman would make the fastest, most stunning transition were he a trans woman. Just because he typically employs reality warping science, right? I can't imagine him having a different voice, you know? Like, there's no version of Eggman that has, like, a soft, gentle voice. And I don't even think he'd care. Because it just be like, yeah. He needs to yell up, even as a trans woman, Eggman needs to yell about world domination. That hasn't changed. Also, I love, you know, we were talking about it yesterday. I love how anything, like, I love seeing, like, spoiler tagged stuff for the Amazing Digital Circus, and then it's trans Jax. And again, the amount of people like, I'm not sure I would have come to that conclusion in a vacuum, but the amount of people yelling it, like the closet was glass. A week before the, you know, the finale, you wouldn't have needed to spoiler tag it because everyone would have been like, yeah, Jax is trans. Repressed trans women. Deja's actually talking to me. I think it was after we went to a Pride event, but about like more Pride stuff that was happening basically throughout the rest of the year, and I'm like, good. Pride is always if you're not having fun during Pride, regardless of your orientation, you're not living right. I have the most fun when it's Pride and some random bullshit happens and I just say happy Pride. So, yeah, I mean, I get what you mean, Juice, but still, I think more open stuff all year is, I don't think, ever misplaced, because especially if people are going to be loudly ignorant, then good to just double down. Maybe I should get a consultant to for my card game stuff because I'm not good at gambling. I don't know. That's the fun thing, right? And I keep saying it. Takahashi did basically no work in creating a card game before he was doing Yu-Gi-Oh! So, in that regard, the bar is low. Tells me to draw 2 cards from my deck. On the other hand, I would like my thing to be compelling in part because it has like actually good card mechanics. So that's one reason Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds is good. I've been saying this. It helps that all of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds takes place and is written in a time when like the rules of the game are set in stone. So you don't have to worry about kind of disregarding what's happening in the game because, you know, the rules are a bit loosey-goosey. You can legitimately be like, oh, I like the motorcycles. Juice, I'm so sorry to call you out on my stream and during Pride Month. You actively said you don't want to watch 5Ds with me. Don't tell me don't be like, I like the motorcycles. You said you don't want it, and that's fine. But don't come on here and lie during my stream about one of my hyperfixations. I don't want to watch him be in jail for 40 years. He's not. How usually he's in jail for like 5 episodes. Juice. The anime is 200 episodes long. Yusei is in there for like 5 of them. And when I say 200 episodes, that is just 5Ds. I'm not talking, you know, not talking Yu-Gi-Oh! As a whole. I mean, I would say, like, in total, you say, like, the opening arc of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, where it is the most apparently about, like, class war and police brutality, that, like, very opening arc is, like, I don't know, 30 episodes, I'd say. Before Yusei kind of gets a free pass from the president, because the president needs him for some shit. So then it becomes a Obama. Obama, if he was reeled into fucking South American culture and doomsday prophecies. I ain't talking Mayas. That's Incas, right? Did the Incas do the Inca geoglyphs? Is that what they're called? Nazca lines in southern Peru. By people making depressions. Who made them? Who made the Nazca lines? By Nazca call. Okay, so just the Nazca. Who are the Incas? Incas are the largest and most powerful ancient empire in South America, known for their impressive art. They did Machu Picchu. Yeah, Machu Picchu. Oh, this is listen. I love me. Aaron Hansen is real fun, I'm not going to sit here and make the mistakes he did. To be so clear, when Aaron ever says anything confidently wrong, he also immediately has Google next to him. In fact, even more so because most of his stuff is pre-recorded as opposed to live streamed. So, you know, we learn from the mistakes of our ancestors. Yeah. I was thinking of. I want to look up. I need to learn more. Juice. Since you're one of the, you're about the only person in chat right now. Let me ask you something real quick. Do you know anything about Morocco? Actually, I could probably ask Alphonse. He might know something about Morocco. He lives near that place. But you know anything about Morocco, Juice? Historically, culturally. I wanted my card game stuff to include a bit more African culture, because that's not well typically drawn from. Right now, we got France, England, Greece, and I'd love more African culture in there. And I think Morocco would be a good fit because it's Northern Sahara, and I have a northern desert kind of place, so. I gotta learn more about it. And I, you know, aesthetically, I've seen lots of Moroccan stuff in shows and movies over the years, but that's not enough. You gotta learn a bit. You gotta learn. Juice, please become a Moroccan expert today, and then transfer all that knowledge to me. And no, I cannot become a Moroccan expert through the same knowledge. I need to mind meld with one. So. Okay, no, I'm sick. Thanks, Juice. Love ya. Yeah. Also, for so many reasons, we can't do Egypt. You understand why, if I'm making a magical card game, I can't do Egypt. There's a lot of reasons I can't do Egypt. One of them is the fact that it's wildly overused, much like I just like your Greek mythology, right? Greek and kind of like, you know, like certain more obscure European mythology. But Greek definitely overused. Egypt is right up there next to it. In terms of the specific genre I'm trying to write in for this, it has a 100% use case. So, that's a no-go. It's also weird how some people consider, like, I don't know. I feel like there's been a lot of cases where it's like there's Egypt and Africa, and it's like Egypt's in Africa. That is definitely, that has been the case before, as those being treated as different cultures, when Egypt is but one culture in a wider continent. So that's why I'd be eager to use like other side other side of Africa, literally. Also, I was talking about like England and France. That's because in part, you know, if you don't know, your typical playing cards you might get at the Dollar General those are French suite at playing cards. So the French did not invent playing cards, but the playing cards as we know and think of them today are inspired by French art. So that's one reason why I'd be very happy to, you know, use France as a basis for a lot of stuff in there. And that's also why I'm okay pulling from Greece and England and, you know, I should really think about pulling more from Norse mythology, just because, what's Normandy? Normandy is a was a Viking colony on France. Is set in France. Juice, I don't know what you're talking about. But, I mean, probably one of the reasons, sure. Also, like, isn't... Monaco is near France, right? Monaco. And that's, like, one of the big... Monaco. It is Greek. Which is... World map. Yeah. I'm not insane. It's on the Mediterranean coast of France, near Italy. Barry played it like 3 years ago. Oh. Was it the one on a boat and it's all animals and stuff, or am I thinking of a different one? Monaco is colonized by the French. Oh. Different. Also, it's interesting to see colonized used in that context, because I believe you, but also I'm looking at the map, and it's like, well, Monaco's touching France right there, and obviously that's how it works, but you so rarely think of the European countries as they exist today being at all colonized, because that is Europe. But there was also like there was so many wars. Like there were in fact a lot of wars to get Europe to the specific land borders it has today. Oh. But there are definitely colonies. Well, I guess it would, at this point, it would be more like former colonies in Europe from other Europeans. The wars never end. Well, no. But I wasn't going to bring that. Me talks about the state of the world. Juice. Cahill, everything is impermanent. It's like, I know. I'm aware. I'm just talking about the moment we're living in currently. And yeah, there are still also wars currently, but... Believe it or not, from what I gather, it seems Europe's war rate has gone down, and you might be like, Cahill, that can't possibly be true. Look at things that happen, and I'm like, yes, but man, anything, looking at a lot of medieval stuff, that can't possibly be true. Well, Juice, look at any medieval thing ever. And chances are there was at least one war that happened in there, so... It's comparatively line go down, which is good. I mean, the 100 Years' War. You said, Juice, like, yes, but also that's what? Just medieval times. Medieval times, I believe, covers like maybe like 500 years of history. That's, I know that for a fact the 100-year war was actually like 110. That's a fifth, and there were wars around, inside of, and before and after that. So, medieval kings did not give a shit. truly did not care about people living or dying, including themselves to some degree. Oh, they you know, they love to act hoity-toity, and like they're too good for it all. But man, the moment their brother marries someone, you know, that like they don't approve of, suddenly it's stab. So that ended in Prussia. Sure, that could be one of them. I know I said this before. I'm not the most knowledgeable on like whole events and stuff like that. You could list. So, I just learned about. I think it was War of the Roses. War of the Roses. Was that after War of the Lancaster and York? What about what war happened? Well, it was more of a battle because of Edward the First, Edward the Confessor dying. That was on War of the Roses, was it? Battle of Hastings. Is that part of a war? That was just a battle. They didn't even have... Norman conquest of England. That was one I just learned decently about. And emerging via royal marriage. Yeah, okay. Austria. Hungarian royalty. Royal family. Was that what's his face? Archduke Ferdinand. History is fun like that. Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Archduke was the heir presumptive to the throne of Austria-Hungary, so it was. Stop one war caused a lot of other wars. Because no, you know, kind of, it's almost like it's folly. It is almost as though it's, you know, it's just true, never a good idea. And then someone comes in and it's like, okay, what about this time that these people conquered this place because of war? And then it's like, okay. And did they live happily ever after that with no consequences from the war? And it's like, well, so. I know there's lots of justifications over the years, but rarely is it the end all be all. It is largely painted out to be, but I don't gotta tell you that. I don't need to be on my soapbox for this. If you're one of the if you're surprised by what I'm saying right now, you're probably one of the people who I was saying needs to appreciate your history lessons more. So. Uh-oh, I pressed the wrong button. When did I do that? I did that a while back. History is so important, chat. It is. Thank you, Juice. I approve of this pinned message. Not to get too much more hoity-toity myself, but like, literally another reason not to be a fan of AI. It's like, my guy, you need to learn. You need to do some book learning. Not even necessarily from a book. You just need to internalize the information. So, go internalize some shit about history. I beseech thee. I'm Juice. I'm proud of you. I was thinking of. I need to look up. I know there were elections in Jersey, which I missed. Oops. I also think it was. I think it was mostly primary stuff. Because you were doing. Juice, were you doing primaries today, or was it like actually like voting people into office and what have you? I sweat looking at Juice, hoping they bail me out a little bit. You should go to primaries. I fucked up not doing that. Primaries, fuck. Because you should make sure, even if you don't really like any of them, you should make sure that the people you like, well, the least bad, I mean, least not good candidate, you know, does well, gets ahead. But yeah, I need to follow that more. I do try to. I'm off TikTok and I don't get a constant stream of news now, which is probably legitimately probably better for me. But I do I'll set reminders for election stuff soon. I mean, I get stuff in the mail too, so yeah, election's important. Be more like Juice, not like me. I wouldn't say that for everything. Sometimes Juice says something and I bust out a straight jacket, but today they're spitting, so we're gonna put away the straight jacket for right now. Honestly, let's vote because I want to take it that way. Agreed. Like, if anything, even if it's not a big one, that's why you should be voting right now. And like I said, that's my bad. I let my time get away from me. And I was like driving home late at night. And I was like, oh, it was voting day. Oops. Well, let me look it up because there's primaries this year. Let's see. Next New Jersey election. Next election. June 2nd. June 2nd. DuckDuckGo, I need you to understand June 2nd has passed. Upcoming election. Yeah, it's the primaries. Not the primaries, the, whatever, the fucking November election. Midterms, that's it. But yeah. Yeah, I'm not even gonna make any excuses. I should have taken it a bit more. I should have been like, I need to slot out this day for this. So I will do so going forward. I will say, and again, this is not an excuse, it's just me talking, because, you know, stream. I think The last few elections. It's very stressful. I don't need to tell anyone that. So, you can do better. I know. Social responsibility. I'm gonna move on just because I'm tempted to like look up more stuff, but I'm not about to read political stuff on stream. That's an awful idea. So, shock, you know, I know that might shock some folks. Seems like stream poison. So, you know, that is something I try to do. If nothing else. That's why I be using this old soapbox so much. Because I don't want to be unentertaining, but also, if I'm able to remind someone like, hey, do this. Hey, this is important, yada, yada, yada. If I'm able to be the annoying little fly in your ear that occasionally makes you go like, oh, right, that I should do, you know, that is good. It is right to do. I like to do that. So. Juice didn't even need me for that today, though, because Juice is a responsible adult far more than I am. So. That's why I always send Juice my taxes. They haven't gotten back to me yet. But, you know, 1 year. At some point. Those will get done. Look, Juice has all of my W-2s framed on their wall. I'm sure the government is okay with that. Funny. Goodness. Ugh. I will say for the election, was that? No, that was like late last year. It was the last New Jersey election. Before the last one. It was real easy. I had a place right near me, so I don't live in the middle of nowhere, so I was fortunately able to run and be like, no sweat, but it's a little easy. Oh, thank you. Have a good eep, Juice. Thanks for stopping by. I like seeing you. You're my good friend. Good night. I relate to Juice. I also eep. I'd at least like to get done this barnacle before we even consider calling stream. But anyway, what else was I thinking about? Moving on from political stuff, because you know, like I said, I like to be a little megaphone, but for multiple reasons, I don't like to be like this, that, the other. So, I am the silly cartoon man. Ugh. I'm gonna be dog sitting again soon. So there is that. And again, more reasons I'm looking forward to the future rather than this specific week. Obviously Deltarune tomorrow, but I mean that's the problem, right? Deltarune tomorrow, but I work and I have a doctor's appointment. I'm not gonna get to play a lot of Deltarune tomorrow, and even if I do, none of it's gonna be the new stuff because I was replaying on PC. I was only gonna finish out chapter 4. So like that'll be like tomorrow, and I imagine a good amount of Thursday will be clearing out chapter 4 again as thoroughly as I can. And then since Friday I typically do my watch along with stealth stuff. Probably I'm not planning on playing 5 on Friday. So even though I have attempted to expedite my own Deltarune experience, the weekend is probably about as fast as it's happening. So oh well. And then I believe for at least a little bit I'll be able to get back to doing games I have on my backlog. I don't think there's, and like I need to save a bit anyway. I'm not doing bad at that, but still. Expenses, you know. And I'm actively looking to move these days. So saving to do so and like buy some furniture would be prudent. So at the very least not immediately buy every game that comes across my desk would be smart. So then I can chill with backlog games whenever I'm hanging out, not trying to remember to go to elections or work on book stuff. It's important to do that, okay? Again, like I've been saying, trying to hold myself accountable for different things, but I also stand very firmly on the fact that people need their breaks, and honestly, these days, a lot of people don't be doing that. It's very easy to get very like kind of tunnel visioned on one thing or another, whether that's like work, other responsibilities. It is understandable one in modern day might just be doing that one thing and never like resting, and that's never good. It was like, heck, the other day I was tired just because I didn't get real proper sleep, right? And actively my work at job work was I was not all there.